Hey, welcome back to Not Your Regular Vegan. Thank you for joining me today as I show you guys how I turned a traditional recipe into a totally good, totally vegan recipe. Now today I wanted some comfort food, something comfort that makes you feel warm and snuggly when the weather starts to change. It is fall officially right now. Well, not officially, but it really feels like fall, at least to me. So I wanted to have a good old comfort dish, and today I chose pot pie. So traditionally you would make a chicken pot pie or something like that, but because we are doing it vegan style, I am going to make a chickpea veggie pot pie. Now the thing that's going to give you the meaty texture or give you the protein that you may be looking for in a traditional chicken pot pie would be these guys right here, and they are called chickpeas. So chickpeas are little nuts. They're actually a nut.
Pause. A chickpea is actually a legume, not a nut. It's a legume that's very high in protein, which is why we're using it as a replacement for our chicken in our pot pie. Carry on.
Give you the meaty texture that you're looking for, and they will also provide the protein that you may miss when making a traditional chicken pot pie. So let's talk about the rest of the ingredients that we are going to use for our pot pie. Let's start with some corn. We have some really nice corn, and don't worry about the recipe. I am going to put the recipe in its entirety down in the description, so make sure you check that out in the description. Let's move along. We have some chopped carrots here, and chopped 1 onion, chopped broccoli, celery, fresh garlic here, nutritional yeast, a fresh sprig of rosemary, fresh sprig of thyme, and we're going to throw that and let it simmer a little bit, give it a tad bit more flavor. Flour. What you need, good old pie crust. Now, is with everything when you're cooking vegan, you want to read your ingredients because most pie crust has lard in it. And we all know that lard is animal fat is used to give things flavor and stuff like that. But you want to make sure you read the ingredients. This one does not have any lard. This is a good pie crust. I've had it before. No lard included. Also, potatoes. Those are also going to add a nice texture and bulkiness and that warm comfort food feeling to your to your chickpea pot pie. Now, and of course you're going to need a nice 9-inch baking dish or whatever size baking dish you want to cook your pot pie in. We have all of the ingredients out. Let's get ready to dig in and make this wonderful comfort vegan style, totally good, totally vegan chickpea pot pie.
First, let's start with getting our pan together. I have about 2 tablespoons of olive oil here. I am going to dump that onion, finely chopped onion, into the pan. And of course, I'm going to get our minced garlic, and I'm going to just saute this until the onions get a little bit translucent because you want to make sure that you do not burn that garlic. Next, I'm going to add in our vegetables. So we have our corn, our carrots, our broccoli, our celery, and of course our chickpeas. And we're going to saute the vegetables until they get a little soft and cooked very well. Next, we're going to add in all of our spices. We're going to start with some rosemary and some other spices. To see a full list of the spices I put in here, just check the description below for the recipe that will tell you exactly all the spices that were included in this recipe. And once we add all our spices, we want to just make sure we coat all of our vegetables really good with it. And then next we're going to throw in the sprig of thyme and rosemary and coat a little bit more. Next we're going to have our 2 tablespoons of flour. Now flour is going to help create a nice creamy texture for our pot pie filling. Now when stirring this up, you want to make sure that your flour coats all of your vegetables really well. Next, we're going to add in about a cup of vegetable broth. So this recipe calls for about 2 cups of vegetable broth, but we'll just add those in about a cup or half a cup at a time. Next, we're going to add in our nutritional yeast. And this is going to give some great nutritional value to our pot pie, as well as make a nice creamy texture like you see here. Now we're going to add in some mashed potatoes. With those potatoes we cooked, I mashed up half of them And then I chopped up the others for the recipe that we're going to add in later. Add a little bit more vegetable broth, and the potatoes are going to help it form a nice, creamy, thick pot pie filling. And there it is. There is our chickpea pot pie filling. Looks so good and creamy. Now, with those chopped potatoes, we're going to add those. It's going to give us a chunkiness that we're looking for if you would have had a regular chicken pot pie. But those chopped potatoes are going to give you that chunky and bulkiness. When starting these in, you want to make sure that you do it real lightly and softly so that you aren't mashing these potatoes, that you leave them in a nice chunky texture so that it helps with your filling. Now, let's prepare our pan. But first we do that, I'm going to make a no egg, vegan friendly egg wash. I'm going to do that by using about 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And then I'm going to add a tablespoon of milk. And this is going to help make a vegan friendly no egg wash. I'm going to take my whisk and whisk that up very well. And there's your vegan friendly no egg wash. First, we're going to prepare our pan by spraying it with a little olive oil. Now you can use 1 or 2 pie crusts here. I like 2 because I like to have pie crust on the bottom as well as on the top. So I'm going to start with putting the first one in the bottom of the pan. Very, very carefully though. Next, I am going to add our nice and creamy chickpea pot pie filling. And with a 9-inch pan, you can fit all of the filling you made into that pan. Then next, I'm going to take our vegan-friendly no egg wash, and I'm going to put it around the top and the bottom of the pan so that the top layer of crust does not stick. And there I am, putting that top layer of crust on there. Not as careful as I did in the first one, but hey, it worked out. Now we're going to brush on our olive oil wash. We're going to make some ventilated holes or ventilated slits for it to bake. Look at how pretty. And we're going to bake this at 350 to 375 for about 45 minutes. And there it is, our totally good, totally vegan chickpea veggie pot pie. It came out really good and it was so nice and crispy. Now, it wasn't really cool when I cut it, so it crumbled, but hey, I was ready to eat. And there it is, a totally good, totally vegan veggie chickpea pot pie. And as always, thank you for watching.